Werdum against Miocic, okay? Stipe. Wow. Anyway, okay. Let's talk about some of the lessons that we learned. The first lesson is 2 fights. It was Francisco Trinaldo versus Yancy Medeiros, my homeboy from Honolulu, Hawaii. Actually, I don't think he's from Honolulu. I think he's from Waianae. But whatever, he's from Oahu. Second was John Lineker versus Rob Font. Okay, in both of those fights, the shorter slugger was able to win by cutting off the cage. Okay, by closing the distance, by using distance is king, to their benefit, because Rob Font and Yancy Medeiros are a lot longer than Francisco Trinaldo and John Lineker. But the shorter opponent was able to get inside the reach of the taller opponent and impose their will. They were able to win using short, crisp punches. Yancy Medeiros versus Francisco Trinaldo was fight of the night. It was a brawl. But unfortunately for Yancy, he was on the receiving end for a lot more of the brawl punches than he was the giving. And in a fight, like on Christmas, it's better to give than receive. And Rob Font, he was not able to create more distance from John Lineker. And John Lineker was able to cut off the cage and keep the fight close. Distance is king. Okay? So, what does this tell us? It tells us if you're fighting a taller opponent, you need to get inside of their reach. Like Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was my best example. He was shorter than everyone he fought, but he was able to get inside and throw the shorter punches. Okay? So you want to be able to get inside. The shorter person wants to be able to get inside by cutting off the cage, not by following their taller opponent around. So that's rule number 1. Lesson number 1 is distance is king, and the shorter opponent, or the opponent wants to be closer. For some reason, a taller opponent might want to be closer. But distance is king. If you control the distance, 99.9 of the time, you're going to control the fight. And Francisco Trinaldo and John Lineker were able to do that against taller opponents. So distance is king. Control the distance, and you're going to control the fight. That's lesson number 1. Lesson number 2 and 3 are going to come from the main event. Stipe against Fabricio Werdum. What a crazy fight. I think Fabricio fought with so much passion, he forgot, or he maybe didn't forget, but he just fought with so much passion that it overpowered not his skill, but his strategy. I'm sure that wasn't his strategy. It couldn't have been. So what I'm talking about, what he did was he came out and he looked really calm and collective in the first minute of the fight, but then he just started running out at Stipe. Like running, like putting one foot in front of the other, running and punching like this. That's not a strategy. That's not a technique. That should never happen. Okay, so that's lesson number 2. You never run at your opponent punching. Okay, there needs to be more of some type of strategy, some type of defense while you're coming in. He was actually running in like that. Now, you could say, well, if one of those punches landed, it would have knocked out Stipe, and then the strategy would have been great. Okay, I'll give you that one. But no, it's a terrible strategy, and even if one of those punches landed, it should never happen. Because a karate fighter, he could fight with his fist back here, like a karate guy. Susceptible to left hooks all day long. But then if he landed that punch, are you going to say, well, that was a good strategy then? No, you should always keep your hand up and then land the punch from here. You don't run forward. You either step drag or push step your way in. Always keeping a good stance, and a good defense going in. Okay? So that's lesson number 2. Don't run in recklessly, hoping for the best. Okay? Because lesson number 3 might happen. Counter someone that's coming in, either with a left hook or a short reverse punch, like Stipe did. Backing up because he was getting out of the way of those crazy flailing punches. He stepped back, got in the pocket, and threw a reverse punch. And it's pretty easy to land the reverse punch if someone's running towards you that fast. The reverse punch, which might not look like it has a lot of power because he was moving backwards, but because Fabricio was moving so quickly, then the punch had that much more power. Kind of like the ball with the bat, when the batter's swinging the bat. Okay? So, lesson number 1, distance is king. Control the distance, you'll control the fight. If you're shorter, you want to be inside most of the time. Okay? Lesson number 2, there's never a reason to run forward throwing punches with your chin up and no defense in place. Never. Okay? Lesson number 3, countering with short hooks or reverse punches is a perfect strategy against somebody that rushes forward recklessly. Those are my 3 lessons. Thanks for coming, guys. Please subscribe. Please comment. And tell me this. How would you guys like it if during my Sensei UFC videos, I actually reenacted what I'm talking about and showed it with an actual partner? Do you guys think you'd like that? Or do you get more of it when I explain it this way? Please comment. Thanks for coming.